Listen, your life isn't going to change by accident. You don't stumble into success. You build it. And that construction starts the moment you open your eyes. You want a better life, a stronger body, more discipline, better results. Then stop snoozing through your future. Wake up when you tape early ownership. Most people wake up reacting. They hit snooze, grab their phone, scroll for dopamine, and let the world decide how their day will feel. And then they wonder why they feel stressed, unfocused, behind. That's not how winners operate. If you want to lead your life or business, your relationships, you must lead your mornings. The first hour of your day is your foundation. You either build it strong or you let it crumble. And what happens when your foundation is weak? Everything else collapses. But when you wake up early, before the world starts demanding your attention, you step into the quiet. And in that silence, where the noise of the world hasn't crept in yet, that's where power lives. That's where you live. You don't need to be perfect. You don't wake up at 4:30 a.m. tomorrow and run a marathon. But you do need a standard. You need a non-negotiable. That means you rise when you said you don't make excuses. You don't need more sleep. You need more purpose. Because when your vision is strong enough, the bed loses its grip on you. So what should you do with those early hours? You move your body because energy is created, not waited for. You train your mind because clarity is a muscle. You sit in stillness or prayer or meditation because peace is built, not found. You review your goals because direction fuels drive, and you intentionally even before the sun is up because that's what separates you from 99% of people still stuck in the fog of their comfort. Every morning is a decision, comfort or commitment, sleep or strength, distraction or discipline. One choice every day. You want to change your life. Don't look for a breakthrough. Create one. And it begins not someday, not when it's convenient, but when you wake up on purpose. You are not meant to drift. You are meant to dominate. The world doesn't need another person half awake. It needs you fully alive, laser focused, ready to own every second. So tomorrow morning, when that alarm rings, get up. Get up like your future depends on it because it does. The first hour of your day is not just an hour. It's the spark that ignites the engine of your entire life. It's where your momentum is either built or broken. Most people don't understand the weight of those first 60 minutes. They treat the beginning of their day like it's disposable, as if it doesn't matter, but it matters more than anything else. Because the way you start is the way you finish. Your state, your focus, your emotions, your energy. It all begins in that first window of time after you open your eyes. If you stumble into the day without intention, without structure, then you're handing over control to chance. And life doesn't reward those who live on chance. It rewards those who live by choice. Think about it. You've just spent 6 to 8 hours in unconsciousness. Your body has been still. Your mind has been processing in the background. And now, finally return to conscious. What to do next is critical. Do you immediately plug into chaos? Do you reach for your phone, check email, scroll social media, compare yourself to the world before you even stand up? That's what most people do. And then they carry that noise, that clutter, that emotional confusion to the rest of their day. No wonder they feel stressed. No wonder they can't focus. No wonder they're exhausted before lunch. They never gave themselves a chance to own their morning. The truth is you need to prime yourself. Just like an athlete stretches before training, just like a performer warms up before a show, you need to prepare your mind and body to perform in life. And that preparation begins with the first hour. This isn't a motivational theory. It's psychological and biological. The cortisol levels in your body are highest in the morning. Your brain is more sensitive. Your subconscious is more open. You're literally more impressionable in those early minutes, which means that whatever you feed your mind and body then becomes your emotional fuel for the rest of the day. If you start with garbage, you run on garbage. But if you start with power, if you start with gratitude, movement, clarity, silence, vision, you operate on an entirely different frequency. You move faster. You think clearer. You respond instead of react. That's not luck. That's the power of strategy. That's the power of discipline. So you have to ask yourself, what does my first hour look like? Is it intentional or is it reactive? Am I pouring fuel into my fire or am I dumping water on it before it even burns? Because the difference between people who thrive and people who survive is how they manage their state. And that state begins with the first decision you make when the alarm goes off. You either hit snooze or you hit life. You either step into purpose or you slide into comfort. What separates high achievers from the rest isn't talent. It's not even work ethic. It's standards. They hold themselves to a higher standard starting with their mornings. They know that if they win the first hour, they've already won the day. It doesn't mean everything will go perfectly, but it means they're ready for whatever comes. They've already anchored themselves in power. They've set the emotional tone. They've entered the world as leaders, not followers. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. And you can't lead yourself if you can't even lead your morning. Stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is a side effect of momentum. And momentum begins with small, consistent victories like getting up early and owning your first hour. Make it sacred. Make yours. Create a ritual that energizes you, centers you, reminds you who you are and where you're going. Don't let the outside world until you've built your inner world. That's the key. That's the truth. Because how you spend that first hour, it determines the quality of the next 23. Most people are waiting to feel like it. They're waiting to be in the mood, waiting for motivation to hit them like a wave, waiting for some magical spark that will make them leap out of bed and take action. But that's not how change happens. That's not how winners build their lives. The people who get things done, who reshape their bodies, rebuild their businesses, rebuild their lives, they don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline, because motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the wind. But discipline, that's built, that's trained like a muscle. And it's what separates those who dabble from those who dominate. When you commit to waking up early, you're not doing it because it always feels good. You're made a decision about who you want to become. And that future version of you doesn't hit the snooze button. That version of you doesn't let feelings run the show. That version lives by design, not default. You wake up not because you're inspired, but because you gave your word to yourself. And there is no one more important to keep promises than yourself. When you break your own promises, you lose trust with yourself. And when trust erodes, so does your confidence. But when you show up anyway, especially when it's hard, you build a type of strength that nothing external can match. That's what discipline gives you. It gives you freedom. People think discipline is a cage, but it's the exact opposite. It's what gives you the ability to control your destiny. Discipline is what allows you to work when it's boring, push when it's painful, and grow when it's uncomfortable. Discipline is the ability to make decisions based on values, not on feelings. And every morning when you wake up early, when you rise before the excuses start whispering, you are casting a vote for the person you're becoming. It's not about perfection. It's not about being robotic. It's not having non-negotiables. It's about creating structure that can support your vision. You don't rise early just for the sake of it. You rise early because your life deserves it. Your goals require it. Your future demands it. There will be days when you don't feel like getting up. Days when it's easier to stay under the covers, when it's cold, when you're tired, when no one would blame you for sleeping in. And that's exactly when it counts the most. That's when you dig in and remind yourself, I don't serve my emotions, I command them. I don't wait for life to give me permission. I take responsibility. That mindset is rare. That mindset creates leaders. That mindset is what forges champions. You won't always be motivated. That's a fact. But you can always be committed. You can decide right now that you will do what needs to be done no matter what. That's the power of discipline. It eliminates the daily decision-making loop. It cuts out the internal argument. Should I get up or should I sleep in? Should I train or skip it? Should I follow my plan or cheat a little? No, discipline says, I already decided, and I act based on that decision every time. That is how momentum is built. That's how habits are forged in fire. You don't get results by doing things when they're convenient. You get results by doing the right thing, especially when it's inconvenient. So wake up early, not because it feels good every time, but because it aligns with the identity you're committed to living into. Let your life be a reflection of that decision. Let every morning become a victory declaration that you are in control. Now, mood, your alarm clock. You, the strongest people, aren't the ones who are always hyped up or riding emotional highs. The strongest people are the ones who move forward when it's hard, who stay on course when it's boring, who execute not because they feel like it, but because they said they would. That's discipline. And that discipline starts with how you begin your day. The alarm rings, your eyes open, and the battle begins. But if you, at that moment, you start stacking wins, and soon the world feels different. Not because it changed, but because you did. There's a big difference between routines and rituals. A routine is something you do out of habit, often mindlessly. You wake up, brush your teeth, scroll your phone, grab a coffee, rush out the door. It's mechanical, automatic, and often reactive. A ritual, on the other hand, is sacred. It's intentional. It's not just what you do. It's how and why you do it. It's a commitment to start your day with presence, purpose, and power. And if you want to transform your mornings, you need to stop running on autopilot and start creating rituals that shape your identity and elevate your life. A ritual is designed, it's deliberate, it's a process you create to align your mind, body, and spirit with your highest vision. It's a space you build for yourself. Before the noise of the world comes flooding in, you need a 2-hour morning block or a perfectly structured plan. What you need is meaningful repetition. A few simple practices done consistently with intensity and awareness will change your entire trajectory. This isn't about checking boxes. This is about priming yourself to live powerfully every single day. When you treat your morning like a ritual, you begin to master your inner world. You're not just drinking water. You're hydrating your system with gratitude, feeling the energy come alive in your body. You're not just exercising. You're commanding your physiology, reminding your nervous system who's in charge. You're journaling. You're not just journeying your day on paper before you live it in reality. You're not meditating to relax. You're training your mind to focus, to detach from chaos, to be sharp, present, and unshakable. That's the power of ritual. It tells your brain, this is who I am now. And when your actions reinforce your identity, your life begins to shift. Most people wake up and immediately surrender to the demands of the world. They check their phones, scroll through social media, read emails, and within 5 minutes, they've lost control of their own state. They start reacting before they even know what they want from the day. But when you build a morning ritual, you reverse that pattern. You declare that your time is your mind is yours, your energy is yours. And only once you've centered yourself do you open the door to the rest of the world. This is about ownership. It's about creating a morning experience that reconnects you with your power and your purpose. Rituals are not rigid. They evolve as you grow. What matters is that they serve you. that they pull you out of sleep and into presence, that they lift you above stress and into clarity, that they ignite your day when you're not accident. Whether your ritual is 10 minutes or 60 minutes, it must be yours, not copied from someone else, not designed to impress, but crafted to empower. Because here's the truth, the person who owns the morning owns the day, and the person who owns the day owns their life. Life doesn't respond to intentions, it responds to rituals. Discipline is created through repetition. Confidence is created through consistency. And success, it's born from structure. The structure you build your morning becomes the launch pad for your mindset, your productivity, and your emotional strength. You're not just trying to have a good day. You're trying to become someone who leads a powerful life. That starts before the sun rises. That starts when you decide that your morning is not something to survive. It's something to command. Create space to move, to breathe, to think, to feel, to connect with your vision. Don't wait until you're in the chaos of the afternoon to try and find peace. Build it into your morning. Ritualize it. Make it part of who you are. Every time you honor your morning ritual, you're not just starting your day, you're strengthening your identity, you're casting a vote for your future, you're conditioning yourself for greatness, and that kind of power doesn't come from convenience. It comes from building a in a morning that fuels your fire before the world tries to put it out. There's something sacred about the early morning silence. Before the noise begins, before the emails start pinging, before the messages roll in, before the world asks anything from you, there's stillness. And in that stillness is your greatest advantage. Most people miss it. They sleep through it. They think those hours before sunrise are made for more rest. But the truth is, those quiet hours are where transformation is born. That silence is a gift, one that most people trade away for comfort. But those who learn to harness it, those who rise while others are still asleep, they unlock something powerful. They unlock clarity, focus, and emotional freedom that can't be found once the chaos begins. The early morning is the only part of your day that's fully yours. It's uninterrupted. It's pure. There's no pressure, no obligations. And space is where real change happens. In the silence, you're not reacting to anyone else's urgency. You're not trying to keep up. You're not performing. You're simply being. And that's where you reconnect with what matters, your goals, your values, your direction. You can think clearly because no one's pulling at your attention. You can listen to your thoughts without distraction. You can breathe without rushing. And for once, you can hear yourself again. That silence, it's not empty. It's full of answers, full of possibilities. It's where decisions are made that shape the rest of your life. But you have to be there. You have to show up for it. You can't experience that kind of clarity if you're waking up last minute, rushing into the day, reacting from the moment you open your eyes. That's not surviving. If you want to lead, if you want to grow, if you want to break through, then the silence must become your sanctuary. Because here's the truth, and when the world wakes up, it comes with noise, external noise, internal noise, demands, distractions, expectations. And if you haven't grounded yourself before that storm arrives, you'll spend the entire day trying to catch up, constantly pulled out of alignment. But if you've already centered yourself, if you've owned your inner world before the outer world shows up, you move through life differently. You respond, you don't react, you think strategically, not emotionally. You lead from presence, not pressure. And that presence is what gives you power. The silence trains you, it teaches you how to sit with your thoughts, how to separate noise from truth, how to access the deeper part of yourself that's always been there. Strong, calm, focused, ready? But you can't tap into that part of yourself when you're always plugged in. That version of you only emerges when the world is quiet, when you remove the static and turn inward. That's where confidence is built. That's where self-respect is formed, not in loud achievements, but in quiet consistency. Waking up early is not just about discipline. It's about giving yourself the mental and emotional edge that no one else sees. Because while the rest of the world is reacting, you've already aligned. While others are chasing calm, you've already created. While they're trying to find time, you've already yours with purpose. And that 1 hour lead you take in the morning, it echoes throughout the entire day. You make better choices. You stay centered in conversations. You operate from strength, not from stress. So in that silence, protect it, use it. Don't rush through it. Lean into it. Make it the foundation you build your life on. It's not about being perfect every morning. It's about returning to that space again and again until it becomes your home. Because in that quiet, in that stillness is where your real strength lies. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to prove it. Just live it. Let the world feel the difference when you walk into the room already full because you filled yourself up before the day even began.